What's up, guys? Welcome to Let It Be Heard, where we are doers of the word, not hearers only. I'm your host, Jaden Heard, and today we're going to be talking about Washington Democrats outlawing community notification for sex offenders. Okay, we're also going to have a special guest on the show, Omarr Peters, and also stay tuned for the end. We're going to be talking about Ivey's epic response to this atheist organization coming out against Auburn's baptism. Stay tuned. All right, so first off, we have an article here from the Washington Examiner titled "Washington Panel Considers Outlawing Community Notification for Sex Offenders." Can y'all believe this? This article is written by TJ Martinell. And this was published on September 29th. So starting out here, earlier this year, a decision to house convicted sex offenders in cities such as Enumclaw without notifying the community drew outrage from local residents. By the way, are we really surprised? On this show, we react to so many videos of people basically being tolerant of weird things. We react to so many people in the LGBT movement who are openly talking to kids about their sexuality and they're grooming children. And they're like, oh, I told my kindergartens, are we really surprised? Of course we're not. And the Democrats are, again, we talked about this last week, but the Democrats are so anti-life, and we know that this stuff leads to death. So, but check this out. The State Sex Offender Policy Board is considering recommendations to the legislature that could include making it illegal to notify communities when a sex offender moves into the area on the grounds that such policies undermine public safety. Now, this is interesting because when a sex offender moves to your neighborhood, normally everybody's aware of it because people have kids, people have children, people have families, people got wives. I know you guys must have saw that video. It went viral. Hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husbands. But for people not to even get notified of it based on public safety, that doesn't make any sense. It's the opposite. But this board was apparently created in 2008. And is composed of 13 members appointed by the governor, whose role is to conduct case reviews of sex offenders incidents and conduct projects on sex offender policy issues. This is what they enacted in 2021, the state legislature. That they enacted a law that calling for equitable distribution throughout counties of sex offenders housed in community-based rehabilitation facilities. Earlier this year, residents in Tenino protested plans to place 11 convicted sex offenders housed on McNeil Island in their community, in part due to the lack of communication. This was reported by Fox 13. Local government officials said that they were not notified about this plan. So these sex offenders are being moved into communities for rehabilitation and stuff, and they're living around people and nobody's being notified about it. Weird. Check this out, though. According to the draft document, many laws placing restrictions on sex offenders actually, and this is their quote, this is what they're saying, it actually undermines public safety, the exact opposite of what lawmakers and the public so confidently assume they accomplish. So these restrictions on sex offenders, notifying the public, these laws against sex offenders are actually undermining what we really want. This is what they argue. The document argues that while sex offenses are distinctly unsettling and injurious, again, they have to make this argument before, so make sure that you guys know that they're not in support of this, but watch this. Policies such as sex offender registration, notifying the community of a sex offender's presence, and restricting where sex offenders can live do not reduce recidivism rates. I don't know how to say that, y'all, but bear with me. Basically, what they're trying to say is that these criminals who go back and do the same crime, the rates do not go down based on these restrictions. So what they're saying is basically these restrictions are not working, and we want to take them away and give them more rights and give them more freedom to live wherever they want, which is a very dangerous thing. Instead, this is what they propose should happen. The proposal calls for reintegration, social support, stable living, and steady employment to reduce repeat offenses. Okay, so let's give them money. Let's put them in the society with more people. Let's also put them on steady employment where they're around more people at work. And let's not notify their coworkers that they're a sex offender. And let's put them in an apartment building and not notify anybody else as well. And make sure that they're stable. Make sure that they're okay. So we're going to make sure that these sex offenders are okay, that they have equity. When we got homeless people on the street who don't get the same treatment. We got veterans coming back from war, living on the street, and they don't get the same treatment. So we'll take care of the illegal immigrants, Washington, Democrats. We'll take care of these sex offenders, but we're not going to take care of our people who actually need it. But it's okay. Again, we don't expect anything much different. Now, this says right here, the document proposes that sex offense registries should be reserved exclusively for the use of law enforcement, and community notification should be prohibited. Additionally, it recommends all convicted juvenile sex offenders should be removed from the registry. So again, you guys have no right to know who's a sex offender. They're taking that away. It's done away with. I'm curious what you guys think about this. Comment down below. Do you guys want to know what your neighbor's up to if he's a sex offender? Do you guys want to know? Let me know. Comment down below. And are you surprised that the Democrats are doing this? Look, props to them for being bold enough to say it and stick to it and propose this. Look, this is very gutsy, but with elections coming up, dude, y'all should have held on to this one, bro. Anyway, but next up, we're going to have Omarr join us. Stay tuned for that. And yeah, we're going to welcome him right now.
Okay, so now, guys, we brought on Omarr Peters. Omarr, why don't you go ahead? We're in a new segment, but go ahead and tell them who you are, what you do, and kind of give a background of how you became a conservative.
Yeah. So, for one, it's great to be here. I've known you for a long time. And for the longest, we've been trying to plan this. But with my move to D.C. from Mississippi and everything just didn't pan out. But it's panned out now. My name's Omarr. I was born in New Orleans, raised in Mississippi, raised in a socially conservative family, but they were all Democrats. They were all very liberal Democrats. As a matter of fact, my parents used to pastor a church, and it was more Pentecostal leaning, not Pentecostal. So for you Pentecostals out there, no, we weren't full out Pentecostal, but it was Pentecostal leaning. So, of course, that comes with social conservatism for sure. But they would vote Democrat every time. I remember them voting for Obama twice. So I just thought you were supposed to do that. My grandmother voted for Barack Obama. I'm now the black sheep of the family. So, but it started in 2014. Of course, Democrats put out this whole narrative. Oh, if you elect Republicans, they're going to take away your rights. And I said, it's not a good enough argument because it's knee deep in the Constitution and in codified law. So I knew that in high school. Started listening to more Republican messaging and said, I'm not there yet, but maybe. So fast forward to 2016, I'm in college. I went to Mississippi College, which is a private Baptist university near Jackson, Mississippi. And most students like yourself really interact with a lot of liberal professors, right? I'm the one that had the conservative. And there was only one full-time political science professor at Mississippi College, still is to this day. He's still there, Dr. Glenn Antizzo. Yes, I gave you a shout out, Doc. So hi. Anyway, but he did not teach with his bias. His bias came out. Every time you teach something or you do something, your bias is going to come out, right? But he didn't lean on that. He gave you simple facts, let you decide what area of the ideological spectrum you're going to be on. So he sat me down, said, this is why I'm this way on this issue. This is why I'm pro-life. This is why this is what leads me to believe that. Gave me facts. Read Conscience of a Conservative. He let me borrow his copy. And it just started to go from there. And in 2016, I made the full switch to becoming both a conservative and a Republican. Remember, folks, there is a difference between being an actual conservative and just being a Republican. Right now, Republicans hold conservative values, but that can always change.
That's right. Yeah. So similar story to me. I became conservative in 2020 after being raised in a socially conservative home because you couldn't bring none of that LGBT stuff in the house or in the neighborhood, right? Black neighborhoods. Oh my goodness. People don't even know that. That's crazy too. People think that BLM and LGBT or this, no,
it's forced upon us.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely not. I think we might be the most homophobic race in this world. Like maybe behind Islam. I don't know.
Probably so.
But
I can believe it.
Yeah. But yeah. So similar story to me, and then of course, obviously, over time, you hear the talking points of conservatism and Republicans. You're like, that makes a lot more sense. The family, lower taxes, less government. Sure, why not, right? And the Democrats lie to the black community, but luckily, it is trending better. It's getting there. Blacks are voting not much more, but a little bit more conservatively. Like I think it went from 98% to like what 92, 93% a Democrat.
I'm seeing polling in their major polls. I think it might have been ABC. Now ABC, don't get me if I'm wrong. I'm just saying that. But I think it was an ABC poll recently that there are about 20% of African Americans, if the election was held today, they would probably vote for Donald Trump. And as we know, if you just teeter off, Trump won 8% in 2016. So if you just teeter off just a little bit, just breaking off just a little bit, what's going to happen? Heck, it might be a landslide for the Republican Party.
Right, which would be nice. Also, one of our big convictions is abortion, right? That's the main thing that we're going to talk about today is like the abortion lie, the propaganda that Planned Parenthood has kind of put on the black community, not just Democratic Party, but just like these and all the talking heads too. It's in black culture, it's in the media, it's in Hollywood. They're all telling you that this is okay and that this is how you're going to defeat the invisible white hand that's over you is to kill your children. Can you kind of talk about that?
Exactly. So, most of your viewers don't know who I am. I have worked for several different conservative organizations, Students for Life of America being one of them. My conversion, I used to be pro-choice, but there were things that I did not know about my parents. My parents are actually pro-life. I didn't know that because you don't talk about that in the black community. If you're not pro-choice, like you said, you're not it, right? So fast forward to me today. It was about learning about the facts. I'm pro-life because, for one, I believe in the science. Science proves that when sperm and egg unite, it creates a whole unique living being, with a unique set of DNA, never has been created before and will never be created again. I believe in science. They want to talk about trust the science, trust the science. Okay, we got a piece of science right there. Anybody with a biology book could teach, right. and you reject it.
And while we're on the topic of science, by the way, can you kind of talk about the scientific experiments that they did, as far as trying to exterminate the black race? So for example, go ahead.
There were several.
Go ahead.
Look at Tuskegee. What was it in the mid to late 1900s? Syphilis study, AIDS epidemic, putting AIDS in the black community, because before 1970s, you did not hear about black people having AIDS. Yeah. You just didn't hear about it because it wasn't happening.
And we're saying that abortion is just another one of those tactics.
It's a social experiment. It's a social experiment designed to eradicate the black race.
Not just the black race though, but it's mainly because the statistics point towards
very true. Not saying that that white children aren't aborted or any other children are aborted, but they push it on the black community because they want to eradicate us. Margaret Sanger, who in fact gave speeches to the KKK, said,
by the way, Margaret Sanger is the founder of Planned Parenthood, for you guys that don't know that. Planned Parenthood.
Very, very much correct. Yeah. She said they can't take care of their kids, so we need to get rid of them.
And that's what they're saying today.
They're exactly saying that, Jaden.
You can't take care of your kids. You're broke. Get an abortion.
You want a career to get yourself out of poverty. You're broke. Get an abortion. Yeah. Oh, you know, your circumstances. The government's not going to help you with that. Get an abortion. It's cheaper. Yeah. So just the lies that are perpetrated by people in the United States government, people in nonprofit advocacy work, Guttmacher Institute, Planned Parenthood, things of that nature and places of that nature. It's all so baffling. I remember I used to live in Jackson, Mississippi, where the famous Pink House, the Jackson Women's Health Organization, challenged a 15-week abortion ban in Mississippi, went up to the Supreme Court, obviously overturned Roe v. Wade. So I remember going there, seeing all of these Black women going there, Black nurses out on the street saying, come on in, just ignore these people, and it took me a while to reconcile that, yes, it was owned by a white woman, but who was the director? It was a Black woman. Mm-hmm. Where was the Pink House? Where was the Pink House located? It's no longer there, I should say. It's been sold. But where was it located? Near Jackson State University.
Which is HBCU.
Exactly.
And well, this is another thing, too. We can point the finger at Margaret Sanger. We can point the finger at all these people in the media, these white liberals or whatever. But again, like you said, like it's the Black people, the Black community that's running this stuff. I mean, you got people like Beyonce and, or not just Beyonce, but just Black celebrities coming out.
Because they're lied to.
Yeah, and exactly. But then, you got Kanye, who as soon as he comes out as pro-life, he's no longer Black, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's
the situation with Kanye. He even came out and said, I almost aborted my daughter.
Yeah, personal story.
I almost did that. Mm-hmm. And looking at the joy that his daughter and obviously his other children has brought into his life, he had to come to terms with that. And when he did, of course, that was just another thing to cancel him over. Yeah. The fear is that if you are pro-life or even remotely getting towards the pro-life stance, you're going to be rejected. You're going to be hated. You're going to be talked about. I can tell you how many times I've been on campus when I was with Students for Life. A lot of people just called me, they already called me Uncle Tom, which they didn't read the book.
Uncle Tom is epic, by the way.
Exactly.
Uncle Tom is great. Guys, research Uncle Tom. That's actually a compliment. Sorry,
yes, it's a compliment. But then again, we're educated Black people. So it's educated Black people. Yeah. But anyway, you already called that. But then, it's funny. My Blackness is no longer part of the conversation. It's now, now you're a man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now you're a man. But here's the thing. Men, especially Black men, have the moral authority to go out there and make sure that their children and their descendants are able to live, hopefully live well. And you do that by working hard and praying to God and keeping his commandments. We know this, but they have the moral authority and the moral responsibility to go out there and make sure, okay, we need to be in the homes. We need to be the stabilizers. Once the Great Society by Lyndon Johnson was passed, in the late 1960s, you started to see Black families, the Black nuclear family, go away. They're split up. So therefore, single mothers look towards the government. And when we as responsible citizens put in people to stop that part of the madness, they started looking even more towards abortion. So first off, we really need to start stepping up in our communities, in our churches, especially Black churches. We need to step up and say, hey, we are going to help you. We're not going to, we're not going to take care of you, per se and just pay everything for you, but we're going to give you that leg up and not necessarily a handout, but the opportunity for you to succeed with your child.
And we have pregnancy resource centers all over the country that outnumber abortion clinics.
What is it?
It's not 3 to 1.
It's about a 3 to 1 or 4 to 1.
3 to 4 to 1.
There are, before Roe was overturned, there were about 700 abortion facilities, but there are over 3, maybe 4,000 pregnancy resource centers. Free. This is free healthcare, people. We like to talk about free healthcare. They're providing it. Yeah, nobody will take it. And then they provide support. I have never seen, as a matter of fact, I have met people who worked in Jackson, Mississippi, and in the Delta in Mississippi. That's Northeast Mississippi, one of the poorest places in the United States, if not the world. And I've met people who were who work for the abortion facilities, who work for the abortion lobby, who work to get women abortions. They don't walk with those women. No. As a matter of fact, I did a debate at Jackson State University with the ACLU in Mississippi. She flat out lied. The lady that was there, I can't remember her name, and I wouldn't repeat it here, but she flat out lied and said, "Oh, they walk with these women." Okay, 2 years down the road, are they still walking with them when they're getting nightmares or they're getting traumas from aborting their children? Right. Or 10 years down the road, the Bible studies that I've been in where women have to face the fact that they did abort their child, it still hurts. You don't get over killing someone.
Yeah. As a matter of fact,
you don't.
I just posted on my Instagram a guy that's been preaching at Auburn University for 28 years.
Wow.
And he still was crying, bawling his eyes out in front of me. This is a couple weeks ago on my Instagram. He's bawling his eyes out because he took his wife to get an abortion back in the 80s.
See, you don't, that does not go away from you. Just like with him. And I'm telling you, I've met those people in Jackson. I've met people here in Alabama. I've met people in Louisiana. Those were my 3 states with Students for Life, by the way. I've met people in those states, and I can't tell you the immense sadness that comes over them. Now, but there is hope. There is hope and freedom in Jesus Christ. Right. Jesus Christ saves. Jesus Christ forgives. That doesn't necessarily mean you won't be reminded of those things. That doesn't mean you don't go through the fire. But what did the Bible say? When you go through the fire, who's with you?
Yeah, Jesus. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Omarr, thank you so much, man. That was great. By the way, guys, if you're a pregnant mother, or if you are not pregnant, you just had a baby, or if you, I don't know, if you've gone through some if you have some post-abortion trauma, there are some really good resources. They're standingwithyou.com or .org. Yeah. There's many organizations. I mean, you have a few more that you want to list before
standingwithyou.org. There's Lifeline. There is Loveline as well. I mean, there are countless organizations that will help you. There are countless places that will help you. And guess what? And I do want to say this. If you have a child and you thought about having an abortion, but you do not want that child, there are safe haven laws. There are safe haven boxes. Please bring your child there, and someone will take care of that child and will love that child. But remember, you're not alone in this. There are so many people that have gone through abortions, but have gotten it rectified and are on a better path to stopping this egregious tragedy that we've allowed for I don't know how many years. Yeah. Right.
That's exactly what it is, an egregious tragedy. So Omarr, thank you so much for coming back on. Tell them where they can find you, and then we'll wrap.
I'm not really active on Twitter, so I won't give that one out. I do have a Twitter, and brownie points if you actually find it. I do have Instagram. It's OCPeters.286. That is my Instagram handle. I am on Facebook. Follow me there. But yeah, that's how you find me.
Cool. All right, guys. Yeah, and comment down below. What surprised you the most about knowing about how the Black community is affected, or even just the origins of Planned Parenthood? There's many things that we could tell you guys, but this is just for one segment. But thank you guys for watching this part, and enjoy the rest of the episode.
All right, now back to it. So we have this story coming from Fox News of this anti-religious group threatening to warn Auburn University after we covered this last week, but these kids got baptized last week. It was a massive revival, worship, preaching, conviction, repentance. It was epic. We're a Christian show. We love that on here. But they called this an absolute joke. This organization is called Freedom from Religion Foundation. And they say that it was inappropriate and unconstitutional that Auburn had employees like Coach Hugh Freeze and Bruce Pearl and all these great people participated in this event, right? So actually, I think Hugh Freeze, there's a video out there. Hugh Freeze was baptizing his players that came to the event. By the way, let me just go ahead and preface this. This was not a university event. This wasn't put on by the university. This was put on by a student organization called Unite, which is a Christian student organization. By the way, atheists have just as much right on this campus as the Christians do. The atheists can set up a club and talk about how much they just don't like God and have their own event at Neville Arena. They could do it. It's totally fine. I know how to do it. I could do it myself. I could go through the means right now, and in 2 weeks we're at Neville Arena if I have enough people. So these people saying that Auburn University is doing all this stuff, and they're not. They don't have anything to do with this, but they're just allowing it, which is the First Amendment, and this is what we pay for without tuition. But anyway, check this out. An anti-religion group, by the way, this article from Fox News is written by Kyle Morris and Brianna Hurley. I don't know if I said that right. But anyway, it says, an anti-religion group, I love that, anti-religion. Just imagine, like, if you think something's not true, why would you be anti it? Like, I'm not going to call myself an anti-Santa Claus because I don't believe in Santa Claus. I'm not out here mad that people believe in Santa Claus. Oh, wait, you celebrate Christmas? Bro, you know that Santa Claus is not real, right? I'm going to start an organization about it. Like, come on, bro. This is how I know that people truly know that Jesus is real and that he is who he says he is, because people will not be as mad about it. But anyway, this says that an anti-religion group attempted to throw cold water on an Alabama university, Auburn University, after the school's football coach was filmed assisting with the baptism of a student, has a, quote, twisted interpretation of the First Amendment, a legal expert says. On Friday, FFRF sent a letter to Auburn University President Christopher Roberts warning that more than 200 student baptism, one of which was assisted by Auburn Tigers head football coach Hugh Freeze, somehow violated the Constitution's Establishment Clause. This is what they say in their little letter. These ongoing and repeated constitutional violations at the university create a coercive environment that excludes those students who don't subscribe to the Christian views being pushed onto players by their coaches, it states. This is very interesting because they're saying that Auburn University is pushing this stuff on their students, and the coaches is pushing these stuff on their students. But I don't see how. Like, could I make the same argument about, like, I don't know, science class? Like, let's just say, for example, I don't believe that the Earth is 4 billion years old, right? Which I don't personally. Am I going to sue the school for pushing their science class on me? Because you take rock class, so they tell you how old the rocks are. Well, I don't believe that, professor. So I'm gonna write a letter threatening you because you're threatening my First Amendment right? No, obviously not. That's dumb. And so you don't have to pray. You don't have to go to Unite. By the way, Unite was a event at Neville Arena. The football players live across campus. They don't have to go. As a matter of fact, most of them probably didn't. The football team has a chaplain who was there as well, who probably has a lot of friends on the football team that went with him as well. No one's pushing religion on you. It's easy to just look forward and walk past it. Just like I walk past Planned Parenthood on campus every day at the table. Just like I walk past College Democrats. Just like I walk past the LGBT center that we have at Auburn. Okay, so don't act like this is a one-sided thing. It's not hard. And people just be mad about this is crazy. But look at this. Freedom from Religion Foundation's twisted interpretation of the First Amendment has the potential to crush both students and their coaches' essential right to live out their faith. Longhofer told Fox News Digital in a statement. This is correct, by the way. The First Amendment, by the way, is not freedom from religion. It's freedom of religion. So we have the right to practice our faith. You don't have the right to use the First Amendment to silence our faith, just like we cannot use our faith to silence your non-faith. But that's what you're trying to do. You're using your non-faith to silence our faith, which is ironic because if it's not real, why does it matter? Kay Ivey had a very great response to this, by the way. It was amazing. Long story short, she said that she would not be intimidated by this threat. But I want to read this whole letter to you guys. Look at this. Look what she says. This is hard now. I can't lie. This is some gangster stuff. I write in response to 2 letters your organization recently sent to institutions of higher learning in Alabama. One, complaining that the president of Snead State Community College has led staff in prayer and challenged them with scripture. The other, complaining that coaches at Auburn University help promote an after-hours worship service for college students called Unite Auburn. Suffice it to say, these letters are misleading and misguided. Here in Alabama, we stand with President Whitmore, coaches Freeze, Bruce Pearl, and Thompson, and the countless other Alabamians who seek to be true to themselves and to God as they live out their lives and seek to do their jobs to the best of their abilities. Notice how she's sticking to the narrative. Everybody's minding their own business. They're doing whatever they want, and they're not worried about other people's business, which is exactly what this organization is doing. As governor of Alabama, I take seriously my responsibility to faithfully, I love that, to faithfully execute the laws. And that includes safeguarding the religious freedom of all Alabamians, religious and non-religious alike. This is what we just said. But the facts described in your recent letters do not violate anyone's religious liberty. Even according to your own account, these events all involved adults interacting with other adults, and no one faced any threat of adverse consequences for declining to participate. As a matter of fact, I had a lot of stuff to do that night, and I chose to go. I had homework, I had quizzes. I know other people had homework and quizzes. You could choose to go or not to go. I know a lot of my Christian friends that did go, and a lot of my Christian friends that didn't go. I know a lot of atheist friends that didn't go, and I know some unbelievers that went as well on their own terms. We saw over 200 of them went on their own terms and got baptized. Interesting, huh? Interesting how that works. That atheists, non-religious people attend a religious event, not coerced into it, just wanted to go, and then they come out as religious people. Maybe you guys should attend one of these things. Maybe, whatever. Even according to your own account, blah, blah, blah. What is more, requiring college officials to entirely remove faith from their lives could very well violate these officials' own religious freedom. Wow, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. After all, the First Amendment protects the free exercise of religion just as much as it prohibits any government establishment of religion. In my view, we should be more welcoming, not less, to expressive faith in society. And society would be worse off were we to purge religion from our public institutions. That's actually correct. We'll get into that in a second. Over time, faith has been a force for good in this world, leading to countless scientific discoveries, the righting of countless injustices, and the founding of countless orphanages, hospitals, and other charitable and educational institutions. Indeed, Snead State itself was founded as a religious school. Wow, that's interesting. Prayer in particular allows us to reflect upon shared ideals and common goals. It gives us it helps us acknowledge our shortcomings, and it fosters change for the better as individuals and collectively. I want to address a few things that she said here. She said that faith has been a force for good in this world, leading to countless scientific discoveries. So we'll use one. Isaac Newton was a Christian. That's a big scientific guy right there. He was a faithful man, and he looked at the world from the lens that God had created it. Right? Science is just observing the world that God has created. The righting of countless injustices. Have you guys ever heard of the Christian slave abolitionist movement? Back in America, it was back when slavery was in America, the European slave trade and all that stuff. There were Christians actually. They were leading the movement of abolishing slavery. As a matter of fact, the people that we look back on were Christians. They were professing Christians who led the abolitionists of slavery. It was great. And I'm sure you guys can Google all that stuff. Civil rights movement was a big faith movement. I mean, the modern day civil rights movement of Black Lives Matter is very the opposite, but you're seeing the fruit of that. The fruit of the civil rights movement was based on Christianity. And so this faith stuff has been really good. It's gave us more freedom than not. So why would you take away that? And I love that she said that. The founding, you have what's that called? It's the where you go drop off clothes. You drop off clothes. Micah, what's that called? You drop off clothes. The clothes are very cheap. Goodwill, but there's also another one. Salvation Army. Yeah, Salvation Army was a Christian. They're not as, there's some problems with them now, but they were founded based upon the Bible. So again, these are very needed things in our society. Not to mention the amount of people's of lives change, people freed from alcoholism, drugs, depression, anxiety. All this stuff happened because people were freed from it by Jesus. And so YMCA. Yeah, I mean, there's so many examples that I could give you guys, which is why freedom of religion was so important to the founding fathers, because they recognize this as well. Another part is First Amendment, though, free speech. They're also trying to take away this same organization that is so quote unquote supporting free speech. They're not actually, but you know who is pro free speech? RSBN. This is why we highly recommend ExpressVPN.com. Guys, have you guys ever noticed that conservatives and Christians have been silenced on social media? And these same social media platforms make all their money by the way, banning you and then stealing your data. Now, how do these people make their money? Check this out. Well, they basically track your searches. They track your video history, everything you click on. They build a profile on you with all that information, and they sell it off to people who hate you. Now, when you use the ExpressVPN app on your phone or computer or your laptop or your tablet or anything like that, you anonymize much of your online presence by hiding your IP address. And this makes your activity much more difficult to trace and sell to advertisers. What's more, ExpressVPN encrypts 100% of your network data to protect you from eavesdroppers and cyber criminals. Now, what I like most about it is how easy it is to use. It just takes one click to protect you and all of your devices, and that's why they are rated #1 by Tech Radar. So let's stop allowing big tech companies to control us, to steal our data. Let's take away their rights to our data by going to expressvpn.com/RSBN. If you do that, you get 3 months free of an annual subscription. Again, that is expressvpn.com/RSBN. Now, if you guys enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave a like and leave a comment again about what you think about the Democrats in Washington basically making sex offense crimes less punishable. I mean, isn't that weird? Also, let me know what you guys think about this religious freedom stuff. I mean, I just think it's weird that people obsess over religion, even if they don't believe in it. Like, I'm not obsessing over things I don't believe in, like the Easter Bunny. Like, I'm not out here protesting it, right? And let me know what you guys thought about Omarr Peters. Wasn't that great? But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Follow us on our social medias, linked at the end of the video. Have a good rest of your week, and God bless. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And be sure to hit that follow button and that join button. It'll take you over to our locals channel where you can further support the show and get access to additional content. God bless.